Greetings from Bangladesh. I wish I could be with you at this Global Scholar Symposium. Unfortunately, I couldn't come, so I wanted to talk to you through this video. I'm very happy that you could all of you gathered together to talk about many issues, many things. I'm sure you'll get lots of ideas talking to each other, listening to the speeches, and then go back and see how you work on all those things. Scholars are supposed to gather information, and do the research, and write books, become teachers, debaters of issues, and so on. That's how the word scholar kind of gives the impression this is what you all be doing. But I always try to encourage that scholars should also be doers, because doing gets you to understand things much better. You come close to reality. You are dealing with reality when you are doing something. And I give the example of scholars having the bird's eye view, kind of fly high and see things from a distance and see a lot of things. But lots of things are imagined rather than real, because from a distance you don't see everything very clearly. And the other kind of view is I say, worm's eye view. You're on the ground, you see things very clearly, you're close to something which is very clearly known to you. So that gives you power, because you know things very clearly. So I always try to encourage the bird's eye view with the worm's eye view, so that you have both kind of vantage point. You see things much better way that way. So I hope while you're discussing things on this symposium, you'll also think about how to get to come to the reality of the situation in a much more closer way, and doing things which you believe is the right thing to do, and have a taste of it, and check back whether your thinking, abstraction that you have is close to reality or not. World is changing very fast, so fast that we cannot even imagine living through it, how quickly we are getting into newer things every minute, every moment. If you look back, 20 years back, many of the things we do today, we are used to today, didn't even exist. Just take examples of cell phones, mobile phone that we have. Everybody has a mobile phone now, everywhere in the world. It's not the rich country, it's not the middle income country, even the poorest country. People have mobile phones everywhere, wherever you go. Poor people have mobile phones, women have mobile phones, village have mobile phones. But some 20-25 years ago, this thing didn't exist. If you look back, internet, for example, it's a very recent phenomenon. It's not something coming from ages. It just started the other day in our lifetime. There was introduction of this little new technology. Nobody knew what it is. Now we cannot imagine a world without internet. Even the little child has access and understands and got used to internet facility and so on, and all the other things, the iPads, iPods, all kinds of gadgets that we see, Facebooks and social media, how we communicate with each other. A few years back that didn't exist. So if we have to imagine a world without all these facilities, it will kind of look empty. We don't know what to do with ourselves. But that's how the world was. That's how in a very recent time. So my question is, if all these things happen during the last 20 years, can you imagine what will happen in the next 20 years? You are just in the beginning of that 20 years next. And just try to imagine during your symposium, what would be world like 20 years from today. My position is all the things we thought impossible are becoming possible very quickly. So the distance between the possible and the impossible is shrinking. So 20 years further down, many of the things which feel impossible will become possible. Now our position is together to figure out which are the impossible things we would like to make possible very fast. That's our decision. We can do that because we have the power. And I mentioned, and I believe that the young generation today, your generation today, is the most powerful young generation in the history of mankind. No other generation had so much power that you have today. Why? Are you more intelligent from your parents' youth when they were young? Are you in some way special? No, that as a person you are not special in that sense. All human beings and all ages were the same people. But the technology makes us powerful. You have the technology which we didn't have when we are at your age. So you are more powerful today than I was at your age. I couldn't communicate. I didn't have any of those gadgets that we have. I cannot mobilize things. I cannot access things at that time. Today you can. You can access any information. You can communicate to anyone you want. You want to figure out what it is. You can immediately get to the knowledge that you are looking for. So that gives you the power. The question is, how are you going to use this power? And what exactly you have in mind that you want to use your power, not everybody else's, your power, to make all the changes that I said are possible, the impossibles turning into possible. That's the challenge. That's what this symposium is all about, to figure out individually how I'm going to make use of myself. What is the purpose of my having all this power? If you don't use this power, obviously you know this will be wasted away. Don't let it waste away. Look at me. I didn't know anything about banking or anything. I was just like everybody else. Suddenly I did something, lending tiny little money to poor women in a village next to the university where I was teaching. I was a young teacher. I did this out of desperation because there's such ugly loan sharking going on in that village. And that little lending that I did transformed me, transformed everybody else. And we called it microcredit. We start lending money and prove that lending to the poor people is a very feasible proposition. Unlike what the bankers were trying to make us believe that it cannot be done. We did it, and we created Grameen Bank. Today Grameen Bank has 8.5 million borrowers in Bangladesh. 97% of them are women. We lend out over $1.5 billion every year, and it's increasing. And the payback is very high, 97%, 98%. That transformed the whole world because that idea has been replicated all over the world. Today, more than 150 million poor women have access to microcredit to create self-employment, create income for themselves, change their families and so on. So it was a small idea which kind of exploded in every corner of the world. So that's your chance. What is your idea that you want to see? Small idea, but can touch everybody else's life. And then while we're doing the microcredit, we started doing other businesses. Business to solve problems, not for making money. I said business can be done in another way. We know business is all about making money. Profit maximization is the mission of business. I started doing business the other way. I said no profit for myself. I'm not interested in making profit for me. All I wanted to do, or all I was interested in solving a problem using the module, using the vehicle of business. So I create a business to solve a problem without having any interest in making personal gain out of it. So that transforms many things. I started seeing things which money-making companies don't see. Because I have taken off the glasses of money making, I started wearing glasses of new kind of business, calling it social business. I suddenly see many opportunities to solve problems which everybody thought cannot be solved. And suddenly that has started picking up, and I call it social business, non-dividend company to solve human problems. That is now a creative power. You have, everybody else have. How to use creative power to solve human problem in a sustainable business way. It could have been done in a charity way, but charity has a problem. One limitation of charity, in charity money goes, it doesn't come back. But if we can transform this into a business module, then the social business money can go in and do the job and come back again. Then the same money will do unlimited number of recycling, and in each cycle it will solve problems. So we become very powerful. And that we have created many companies in Bangladesh, many other countries are doing that. You have that chance to come up with ideas and transform it into business to solve the human problem, any problem. You know, we can solve all the human problems we see now. We have the creative power. That's the power you have. Use that creative power to solve all the problems. No problem is superior than the human creativity. So human creativity has the ultimate victory. So use that power so that we do that. And social business will make it happen. So find out what the social business is all about and make use of it. In the next 20 years, we want to create a completely new kind of world by using the power of creativity, by using our own talent, and using the idea of social business to make a world which we will be proud of. In that world, there will be no one who will be called a poor person. So no poor people, no poverty in that world in 20 years' time. Possible? Just using your creative power. No unemployment. There is no reason why anybody should be unemployed. It's all a question of using your creative power so that everybody has something to do. Use their creative power. Like you, the person who is unemployed, the young man, young woman who is unemployed, he or she has the same power. But that power is wasted away. It's a shame. So how to make sure we create a world, the word unemployment will be totally unknown. We want to create a world, there will be no welfare dependency. Why anybody should be dependent on welfare? We have all the creative power. So world will be completely free from welfare because everybody will be busy doing things they enjoy to do and benefit everybody else. So that's a challenge. And we want to create a world where there will be no unnecessary debt. Health for everybody. Everybody will have the healthcare, first-rate healthcare service. And that's it, in a social business way. It's possible. Again, it's a question of putting our mind into it. And we want to create a world where every day it will be a safer world than it was yesterday. So we'll keep making the world safer and safer each day we pass. Unlike today, where we make the world more dangerous than it was yesterday. We reverse that cycle. All these things can happen if we put our mind into it. And I hope we'll discuss these issues during the symposium. Thank you.